Dude, I am what is going on here?
You are live is what
We
you
are
are.
live, and I'm vibing with that new introduction
Yeah.
we got going on.
Just-
I am digging this thing.
Yeah, it's
But
great.
hey,
It's great.
welcome back, folks. Welcome back to another Serious Angler podcast, another fantasy fishing preview show. As always, I'm your host, Bailey Egbrett, and joined with me is the captain, Mr. Andy Full, and somebody who's making a cocktail, making a late entrance here, Mr. Adam Deacon. We'll bring him in here. This drink better be good, dude. You put high praise on it. Let's see it.
Oh, dude. Okay. Wait, I don't know if I can show. There we go. Yeah. We got some jalapenos in there. That's
some ranch water.
Yes, sir. We got a ranch water situation. That's tequila, soda water, lime, jalapeno, and then
jalapenos. Nice.
Yes. And then I found this local place that makes a jalapeno margarita mix and added a little bit of that in there too. So dude, it's good.
So
nice.
Bougie.
Just some sweetness with that marg mix.
Exactly.
So bougie.
I haven't had dinner yet, so it's the perfect combination of where you start drinking, but like your tolerance is about here because you haven't had food yet. So we're ready.
Yeah. You feel great for dinner is what you're saying.
It's funny. Like I am bougie about nothing in my life except for like food. So like when me and Amanda like travel, we have to go to like the most bougie restaurants we can find, like scratch kitchens, and just like eat the most glamorous food on the menu and be like, this is incredible. Because
that is awesome.
That's the only time we really do it. So yeah, it's fun.
So Andy gets very bougie with that stuff.
Like it's fun.
Well, we got a bunch of people tuning in right now, and we're
first timers. Like this is awesome. We should let them know what we do for our live shows with the giveaways, so they know what's in store for them tonight. Yeah.
Well, folks, if you guys are just engaging tonight, throw in some hot takes, some of your picks as we go along in these buckets. You guys have a chance to win some shades from Hobie Eyewear, a $25 gift card to Omnia Fishing, as well as a $25 gift card to Queen Tackle. And also, you're going to get a pretty sweet Humminbird Minn Kota package sent your way. So make sure you guys are engaging tonight. All these shows we love to do them because you got long-time commentator, part-time co-host as well.
Yeah.
But make sure you guys are engaging, and we'll be picking our favorite winners. We do not have Adam Bartuzik tonight, so one of us will be giving away two winners, two of our favorite comments, questions, topic, conversation starters, etc. Just be engaging and win some stuff tonight. But either way, boys, I think first things first, the Bassmaster Classic. Holy crap,
man!
I felt like an anchovy in a can. But it was so busy inside the expo. There were points where I was like, I'm not even going to go walk around and talk to people because it's going to take me 1 hour to get to the other side of the convention center. It was insane.
Man.
Take that comment, Andy.
That's fine. Sean, like, whatever, man. Like, I think I talked to Sean on the phone for at least like 45 minutes every day. He's like my longtime best friend from just after high school. And he's the one who actually taught me just about everything I knew about bass fishing when I first started, him and his dad. And his dad might be the only person in the Northeast that runs an Allison bass boat. Yeah, like my first ever like true bass boat ride was 86 miles an hour, if I remember correctly, going upstream. Wild. So
what you're saying is I have to when we have our Andy roast session, surprise roast episode, I need to get Sean on for that.
So if we do that, I have plenty of roasting for Sean as well. So like I don't know how well that would go over.
Well, here's what would happen. We would just constantly mute you throughout the show so that you would never get a word in.
You realize, Bailey, I can mute you as well, right?
Man.
I didn't think about this.
Control.
Well, so I guess before that episode, I will change the password without you knowing, and then I'll have to invite you to that stream.
Oh no. Like I think we'd need like a Patreon for that because that would probably be
It'll be a not so serious episode.
Yes, it'd be not so serious, and I'm sure there would be a lot of foul language. So,
so John King will be invited. Is what you're saying?
Yes.
All right. Well, I think let's start diving in. I mean, beyond the fact that it was freaking crazy. Apparently, Bass had a record number for attendance for the Classic.
Almost 155,000 people walked through the convention center in 3 days.
I will say I don't know if the numbers are 100% accurate because I got 3 clicks when I walked in one of the times. So I was like, we'll see. But either way, it's a crap ton of people. It was crowded. It was shoulder to shoulder in the expo. But I think most important part was literally the last 30 minutes of fishing on Sunday and the weigh-in, because I think the most interesting part was Stetson Blaylock was leading all day long on Bass Track, and he was the only one that was actually weighing his fish on the boat. So literally Welcher sandbagged hard. Oh, Jason Christie sandbagged twice the amount Welcher sandbagged.
Well, all day long, I looked at Schnupp and I was like, Christie has sandbagged the entire event. I go, I bet he's 3.5 to 4 pounds light. And he was almost 4 pounds light on the dot from his Bass Track.
Well, and honestly, it was so hard to tell too, because every time he caught a fish on live, like, I mean, he was straight up just taking it back to live so quick. And I was like, man, was that a 2.5 or was it a 3.5? Like, it was hard to really tell how big his fish were, but they were a lot bigger than I had expected. It was impressive.
Yeah, when he grabbed the bag, I was like, oh, he's got like 15 to 16. And I was like, ooh, they must have all been 3.5 pounders.
Dude, there was when he called up later in the day, Welcher, I'm talking about Kyle Welcher, and they were showing he picked up his smallest fish to call. And they said in Bass Track, it was like a 112. And we're like, that's a 3-pounder. Like, he has a much bigger bag. He was like a pound behind Stetson at the time.
Yeah.
Man.
But dude, it was close. Ken Duke said that. So I had the pleasure of, when I was backstage in the media stuff, writing a press release, I was sitting next to Ken Duke. And I was like, after when Christie was announced that he won, I was like, Ken Duke, 5 ounces. Where does that rank amongst the closest? It's the 3rd closest.
Wow. Dude, I would honestly, out of the last, I don't know, 4 or 5 classics for me, this was the most fun to watch. And last year being at the Classic, I really did miss out on some of the live coverage. So I'm curious to hear that from you guys. I will not miss another Classic because I was extremely, I love going to the Classic. So I will be going back, but it was nice to take it all in from a video perspective of watching literally the entire live deal.
That's a fire question right there. Will Jason Christie be unstoppable now that he has a Classic monkey off his back?
What's going on, dude? Yeah.
Did he never won AOI, did he?
No. But there was a stretch when he was fishing the FLW Tour and the Elite Series that he basically was unstoppable. I feel like he went on like a 5-tournament stretch where he either won or was like 2nd place for 2 months of the year in like 2012 or 2013. Like, and he won like 3 out of 5 derbies or something. And they're like back to back.
Oh, do you remember he won 2 on Grand back to back? One was an Elite, one was an FLW. It was like 2 weeks apart.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I think he won like somewhere else on the FLW Tour before that, or Bass like right afterwards.
Like 300 grand in 3 weeks. It was crazy.
Yeah. Like
wild.
When Christie can fish the way he wants to fish, he's unstoppable.
I agree.
He might be like one of the most dangerous fishermen there is.
And really, go ahead.
I was gonna say Patrick Walters was a jerkbait scoping. When that's on for him, he's almost unbeatable, right?
But you know, with a feather in his cap, in my opinion, with all this, and the biggest takeaway that I've taken away from all of this is the amount of spinning rods used, and that he went to his deep hole every day.
Yeah.
Get that limit of spots in the boat, get a couple of bigger ones, and just his, I guess, the intelligence he had to realize that he needed to learn how to deal with the forward-facing sonar and Demikian and practice that at home in the wintertime and do that, because it totally played out. Like in the past, I think Christie would have been on the docks the entire time. Yeah. But because of that, knowing that, like that was just, I mean, that blew it away to me. It's like, man, this is the real deal.
I was going to say, so I didn't get a chance to watch much at all. I was running around like a chicken with my head cut off. Christie had a Damiki rig tied on.
Yes.
Yeah, he's
A
casting.
prototype Yum
He's real sneaky.
minnow.
He had two of them. He had a
The
clear one
world's-
and he had a white one.
We got Jason Christie with a spinning rod Damiki rig. We got $5 for a gallon of gas. I mean, we got World War III going on. What the hell's wrong with people? This is the first time I'm hearing about this too.
Yeah. Like literally, like I was watching replays and he's like, I got this FFS minnow or whatever it's called. Like then they basically called the minnow forward facing sonar minnow, FFS minnow for scoping fish on live scope. And he's like, it's a prototype bait by Yum that we're working on designing. And he caught a couple key fish on it every day.
He wouldn't have won without it, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Dang. See, I
just think about the confidence when you have a limit in the boat. Like how much better you fish.
Getting all Marvel on us here with Jim Johnson.
Yeah, we're in the end game, boys.
We're in the multiverse.
No, it's end game, dude. We got Jason Christie with a damn spinning rod. He's Thanos right now. We're screwed. Oh gosh,
dude.
That's
go ahead, Billy.
I was just saying it's crazy, but I know he his jig that he got his bigger bites on is doing crazy right now. They're pretty much sold out.
Yeah,
that War Eagle half ounce. It's a good jig.
Felipe, I agree, man. I thought Stetson when he was going on, like when it's your time, when they always say it's your time and everything's going right.
Yeah,
I felt like that was happening for Stetson that final day.
Yeah.
And that giant with like 2 minutes left.
2 minutes
it's
left.
Like that's it.
Yeah,
that's it.
And then I texted Jake, which Felipe knows Jake as well, and Jake was like, "Oh yeah, dude, Jason's doing well. Jason's doing well." Jake is just a crazy cameraman with the Elite Series.
Dude, talk about a cool story. Yeah. I highly encourage everyone to go listen to Dave Mercer's podcast with Jake that he did post Classic. That is awesome. You guys have to go through social at Jake's and Jason Christie's social media to see that full story. It's a really good read.
Wasn't he his cameraman for the last Hartwell Classic when he only caught 4?
Yeah. Yeah. Go to Jake Latendress's Instagram page. He's got a really cool post laying out the entire story. It's pretty badass. And if you don't believe like destiny, that win was pretty much destiny with Jake in his boat. It was pretty cool.
Yeah, it was
very cool.
It was awesome to see it happen. I'm sad. One side note, I am sad that I did miss final day weigh-in. I opted to take some family time because family time is very important.
You were with family. They're down there with you.
But I hadn't seen them in 3 days.
It's 1 hour, Andrew. 1 hour to watch Jason Christie host a trophy.
What time did you get home after weigh-ins?
Well, that's because I went out drinking.
Yeah, exactly. I would have done the same thing.
Well, see, then you would have always remembered that. Not, hey, I went and you have your whole daughter's life to see.
Yeah, but it was the last night of vacation too for them. So
I'm with you. I see both sides.
Yeah. And I did go to this banging custard place, and like it was like the greatest ice cream I've had in a very long time. So I watched the weigh-in on my phone live while eating custard, and seeing the smile on my daughter's face made it worth it to skip it. So
all right, you earned your wife's brownie points, but you lost brownie points with me.
I was gonna say,
thank you,
Come on,
guys.
Thank you. The same way as Bailey, but I also have enough foresight to see that like this wasn't all of Andy's thinking. This was a full picture here.
Yeah,
this is why I make a great uncle, not a great father.
I'm with Bailey.
As he points to me.
Oops, that way. No.
The cameras are all backwards.
Oh gosh. No, I can't knock it. I just like giving you a hard time. Yeah. But we're obviously here to talk about Santee Cooper. The Classic was freaking awesome, and we had a really good episode back on Tuesday night. But you guys can either listen on watch on YouTube or listen on MP3 with Luke Palmer, who had a great finish, 6th place finish. He keeps getting better and better each Classic he finishes. And Luke's just an awesome dude to hang around and to learn from. Just literally picked up a spinning rod for the first time in his life in the past like 3 years. So that was an interesting episode. Make sure you guys go tune into that.
And the juice he dropped about side scanning, live scoping docks and pockets. Like there's some juice in that episode people want to listen to. Yeah,
for sure. So boys, I think let's get into it here. I know we had a bet going. We have a couple people commented in. We have no Bartuzik tonight. Bartuzik is driving somewhere. He chose the crappie over his buddies in the show. So no
bold prediction: Bart will stop
not
bass
doing good.
fishing in like a year or two because he's like full-fledged crappie guy now.
No, Bart will stop bass fishing because we beat him so bad in fantasy fishing this year that he just quits.
Everybody DM Bart saying no more Bart. Just like let's start a thing here. Like,
No more Bart. Not team Bart. There we go.
not team Bart, no more Bart.
Not
All
team
the
know.
same. Less Bart, whatever. Just blow up his inbox.
But don't worry, because Bart is not here. We can still pick on him and make fun of him as we're doing right now. So to kick it off, Bartuzik had 1,180 points for
Hey,
the Classic.
hold up, right here. This is all I was pumped up about this show about. Here we go. Wait. Raise your hand if you beat Ronnie Moore. That's right.
Damn it.
He
All I
barely
care
got me. Yeah.
So-
So funny story, real fast. I'm walking by and I look at Ronnie. He looks at me and he goes, "I'm not unbuttoning my shirt this week, boys."
Yeah, on Monday morning, I saw Ronnie. We were on the same flight home or flight to Atlanta for our connecting flight, and I make eye contact with him, and he goes, "I need to see them fantasy scores." Like he's like freaking out because he doesn't know. We had a bet with Bart or not Bart with Ronnie Moore on the last on the Classic preview. You guys will have to tune into that one if you want to see what it is. But basically, it was if Ronnie Moore. If all of us beat Ronnie Moore, he'd have to like unbutton his shirt for the next live stream.
It's phenomenal.
Yeah, it was a great idea by John. So with that being said, I'll go next. I had 1105. I was the loser in the group and did not beat Ronnie Moore.
Yeah.
Andy, what'd you have?
1159. So I believe I came in third. And did not beat Ronnie as well. So I'm sure the next time I see him, he will talk trash or something to me.
Oh, I'm sure he will.
Oh, man.
Deacon, round us out. What
He was talking trash to me, even though I beat him. I had 1,192. I had a pretty good derby.
You did. So Deacon got first. You said 72, Andy, or 58? Oh, 58.
50. Hold on. I think it was 59.
Okay.
Don't shortchange me here. Even though it doesn't matter.
Come on.
So,
I'm riding third every tournament, it feels.
updated golf scoring, because for folks who are first timers here, who might be keeping up on MP3 as well. But what we're doing amongst the four of us is doing a little kind of a group bet just privately amongst the four of us. And we're doing it golf scoring. So lowest score at the end of the year wins. We all got to owe them a bunch of stuff. And it'll be a fun season recap show that we'll do. So you guys have to tune into that one at the end of the year.
I feel bad for the loser.
Bartuzik has 9 points. Deacon with a whopping 4 points.
Wow. Killing it, dude.
Andy with
Okay, year.
10.
Ooh, I must be in last.
You need to pass Bart.
And myself with 7.
I'm
So
in last. Dang it.
come on, Andy. Come on. You gotta be more here.
We should have a side bet if all of us beat Bart. Like
Like a
If
Ronnie
all of
Moore
us beat
style.
Bart, he stops bass fishing.
oh gosh.
All right. Without further ado, boys, let's start talking about Santee Cooper, because I think a lot of people are very excited for
I'm
this
one of
event.
those people.
So we were talking offline. Andy, throw this out on the table. What statistic did you find earlier that can make things a little bit interesting? Some cool historic data.
So basically, pretty much the same week. Well, a little bit later, March 30th through April 2nd, the last time the Elite Series,
2006, right?
2006, the top 6 guys all had century belts, and Terry Scroggins missed it by like
Freaking nuts.
almost nothing. He had 99.11. So first place with Preston Clark was 115.15. A Mart 108.4. Skeet Reese 108. Steve Kennedy 104.2. Kelly Jordan had 103.3, and Dean Rojas had 102.10.
So for folks really fast, we see a comment coming in. The century mark means 100 pounds
Yes.
over 4 days. That is what a century belt, that's basically what you get. Knowing on your career is anytime you reach over 100 pounds in 4 days.
All right.
And
So
that-
ready to make the cut, the top 10 cut, 94 pounds.
Oh my god! I mean, that's like, yeah, that's the best it's as good as it gets.
Yeah.
Anyway.
It's just insanity. To make the day 3 cut, you had to have just about 40.
The day 3 cut.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
over
20,
2 days.
you had to catch 20 pounds a day.
Yeah.
To make day 3.
Now, although that was again 2 weeks later,
Oh,
a week later, 2 weeks later.
about a
So-
week later.
Okay.
I mean,
Spawning deal though. I remember
Yeah.
like hearing guys talk about like Hallman talking about like, dude, there was like 9 and 10 pounders on beds everywhere.
Yeah.
Is
Yeah,
this still
so
going to be a spawning
Jim-
deal or not?
Jim Wood said how big of a fish there. It sounds like Fork. There's freaking bigger fish. in
Fork's
Santee
got a lot
Cooper.
of like 5 to 9s. This place, like,
It's chock full of giants and trees that will
wells.
mess you up.
Yeah, so here's a great point to note about that statistic from Justin here. A lot has changed from Santee, and a lot has also changed just in
Okay.
terms of fishing. Like as anglers, what people know, how fast they can break down water, technology, different things in their
That's a
boats
good
that allow
point.
them.
That's a good point, Bailey.
I think you could take in a couple different directions. Say the conditions are the same and it kind of sets up like that year. If it's, I mean, looking at Hartwell, a lot of those fish, the guys said that were already spawning. They had found beds even in practice before they had hit that cold front. So I think you're going to find, I think this will be an interesting event to see if you have fish in every stage, pre-spawners, spawners, and post-spawners. So I think you might find guys that might have like an area where he has pre-spawners, like one cast, he catch one that's a freak fatty. And then the next one is like, has no belly, skinny as all get out. But then it goes up later in the day, it has fish on bed.
Another wild point for this elite event next weekend. The full moon is on March 18th.
So
The
what is
tournament starts March 17th.
Holy shit.
It don't matter how warm the water is, they're gonna be up shallow. That's all I'm gonna say.
We should have had the song like Pony, like ready to rip for that as soon as he made that.
Like full moon means they're getting it on. It's going to be wild if it happens.
Over my little bit of like, I guess over the years of watching spawners and stuff, I love fishing for spawning bass. And I will say I have come to the personal conclusion, side note here, that I feel like moon phase has more of a role with spawning fish than water temperature does. And that is just from like, I have gone like in late March in Colorado of all places and been like, that's a fish on a bed. Like that is actually a fish on the bed. The water temp is not even close to when they should be spawning. The majority of fish aren't, but that's a fish on a bed. And it was a moon phase deal.
Yeah. So last year I was fishing a tournament, a catch and release derby, best 5 on one of our Finger Lakes, and there were smallies on bed in 43-degree water.
Oh my.
Because there was a full moon. But it was also like really warm the week before, so the water temp dropped like a rock. But like you could tell that they just got there, even though the water temp was 43 degrees.
It's gonna be freaking interesting, man.
It's just wild.
So there is a comment here. Chris Fillet asks, "Isn't the first day going to be super cold?" Of tournament day, no. Of practice, they're literally.
Yes.
I'll pull up. I will share my screen here. Let's see. So we have the first day of practice. It's Sunday. It does the night before get down to 24 degrees. But the next day, at least gets back up into the mid 50s with all sun. And the rest of the week is going to be hot.
Oh,
hey, I just got to throw out Omnia on the side there on the right. I have noticed on my computer, Omnia business from the bass boat side of things has got it down on ads, man.
Oh,
They
they
got
rock
me
it.
everywhere. Like I'm
Mhm.
like anytime I'm like checking the weather, checking anything, it's like Omnia ad. It's like they got it figured out. So
I
good
think
work by the Omnia team.
it's also because it's probably listening to me talk about Omni all the time. So now,
Yeah. So
it's force feeding me ads.
will there be I think we're gonna be able to see fish in all phases because when we were at Hartwell, it got really hot. So that first wave of spawners probably pulled up and spawned. So somebody's gonna have them coming, going, and spawning, and they are going to catch them. So
I
any
think
near contour flat, any steep breaks near spawning flats, whoever figures out which one has the biggest fish on it and has the best bait population is going to wreck them.
Yeah, I think any ditches leading
Yeah.
into spawning areas will definitely have a mix of pre-spawner and potentially some post-spawners.
Yep. It's going to be if they're not catching them on a chatterbait or a swim bait, it's going to be a spawning fest. Like that's the three things I'm looking forward to.
Yeah, I mean, if there's a guy that's going to do it too that did well there when they were there in October.
Yep.
Uh,
It was it was a swim bait, swim jig, and a chatterbait.
Yeah.
Yep.
yeah, beyond just Polinick and Jocumson, but I because he's not here, I'll say it for him, Austin Felix. He was top 10 on Santee Cooper.
Yeah, and he's
gotta have
an
it.
incredible sight fisherman. He's going to catch them regardless. He'll find them offshore and he'll find them on beds. Austin Felix is a great pick.
I think this one is Deacon and I were chatting earlier today. We're like, I think we're literally going to have the same picks for like the next two events. Like
we had 3 out of the 5 at the Classic, I think.
Yeah, and that's because I picked one, so we literally weren't the same the entire time.
You know, like I'm pulling a Bart of last season of like picking some horses and running them like multiple races. Like you look at some of these guys and the way the last couple of derbies have set up, it's like it's hard to bet against them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, with the Elite Series schedule this year being such a
shallow,
at least
heavy.
Yeah, it's hard not to. So, any other hot takes from either the folks or you guys here before we start getting into our groups?
I think this might have been one of the hardest tournaments to pick because every bucket has like 2 or 3 guys you can choose. In my opinion, they did a really good spreading out everyone. It's going to be interesting. Like I am so excited.
I still will say that I think the tournament that's always and forever will be the hardest tournament to pick from is St. John's River.
Yes.
I don't know. This one was super easy for me. I kind of clicked through pretty quick, honestly. So maybe I might have missed something. But I think without further ado, shall we start picking our buckets here, boys?
Yeah, sure.
Absolutely, man.
All right. Well, because Bart's not here, we'll make him go last for each group. Let me move my picks over. All right. So let's start Group A. Andy, you want to lead us off? Actually, you know what, Deacon, you are last week's winner. Why don't you lead us off?
Oh, everyone wants to know my picks because I'm leading.
We're all just going to copy Deacon's picks as we go.
Man, some of these buckets were really hard, and some of them weren't, I guess, as hard for me. With bucket A, obviously, you're talking about the best anglers sitting AOY currently. So there's a lot of hammers. You have the previous champion BP in there off of Santee Cooper. But I have a hard time betting a bet against John Cox with, I think, the majority of the fish being shallow, possible spawning fish. So I think there's some hammers. You got Drew Cook in there. You've got Buddy Gross, who's done well at Santee, I believe. There's so many good anglers in bucket A, but John Cox knows how to win, man. And that's my guy.
Well, I guess I don't really need to have any speech because I also go. We called it earlier today. We never shared picks.
We never shared names, but no. it was valid.
It was. Yeah, I mean, there's really nothing to add on top of that point beyond that. John Cox is probably sitting there just licking his chops, seeing this tournament coming up.
The John Cox expert bomb
Dude,
diffuser.
okay, hold up.
That was so
That was-
funny.
Okay. Wow. That was
It's always orange.
I don't know. We already sent something to Dick Duckett, because if we already sent something, and maybe I won't give him another gift card, but my gosh, that like you have got, because here's the thing. I talk about this with my friends all the time.
Left or right? You're gonna have to help me with that one too, because I'm dyslexic.
If you are a tournament angler and you have not been through, like, it doesn't matter if it's a brand new boat or a 1998 boat. Boats suck. They all suck. And there's wires that end up being wrong. And you end up and you're sitting there, you're like, do I cut this one? This one's not working. All right, I'll just keep cutting them. And it's just like, I don't understand it. But we gotta have a higher standard in the bass boat industry, because these boats are expensive and they always have issues.
He's like, my auto bilge was on all night. Just cut the orange one. It's always orange. Nope, that's not orange.
That's not it.
Turns out you don't want us as the bomb diffuser team.
That speech was amazing. When he's up there, he's like, well, so I hit the next wire. That didn't work.
Oh my!
Went to the next one. That turned it off, but we'll see if my boat runs in the morning.
Yeah, exactly.
Third time's a charm.
Oh gosh,
That's amazing.
I was dying. Absolutely dying. Oh, man.
So I think one thing to call out too, Andy, before we get to your pick really fast.
Yeah.
A lot of people are picking Brandon Polinick here. And while I think Brandon is always a decent pick,
Big
I don't
Fish
think
Fisheries is a hammer, man.
I don't think he'll top 10 this one.
I would agree with that. I wouldn't be super surprised though if he did, but I agree with that.
He's the Swiss Army knife. He's only getting better and better. I mean, he's proven in Florida that he's only getting better. I'm just thinking this kind of event is one that's just like a Brandon survive top 30 to get AOI events versus.
It's a great fantasy pick if you're unsure in the bucket that he's in and you want to play it safe. Brandon Polinick is a safe play, but when it comes to slug hammers, you always have to pick the slug hammers when it comes to a spawn fest.
Yep.
If he won this event, I mean, obviously I can't go out and say it 100%, but I feel like Brandon Polinick would be the most versatile Bassmaster winner ever.
I agree, because he would have won a tournament every single way.
I think because he won at Santee already, which I think is why his percentage is so massive. I don't think he's won a sight fishing tournament before.
His percentage is
22 and a half. It's more than that.
Okay, like here's the thing with percentages. Half of I think the high end percent is the namesake, right? Like when you have a famous guy, a Scott Martin, a Mike Iaconelli, a Brandon Polinick, someone who's got a big following, regardless, is going to have a high percentage. Now, that being said, I think the other part is people really who tune into live view in on, okay, who who won an event. The difference is we're talking about a stingy Santee in October or whenever it was in the fall versus a full-on pre-spawn spawn derby with a big fish fishery. So you got to be careful of time of the year with some of these guys.
Yep.
Yeah.
And with 5 bites fishing, because he said that, and I've been saying it all year, first of all, he's going to get the Omnia gift card, but it leads me into my pick for Group A. I picked Corey Johnson because he finished in the top 10 last year at Santee Cooper, and it's the start of his Vengeance Tour. And I think there's some other bad demons out there that, kind of floated around that he's going to clear the air on.
Oh, man.
Sorry, I didn't want to go hot take there, but it just kind of came out.
That's
5 bites. Shoot us an email. Our email is down below in the description. Shoot us an email. We'll get you that $25 code sent to you. And speaking on that really fast, guys, with our email being available for folks down below, I've been getting some emails from fans asking us to talk about certain topics or certain comments they have about certain episodes, especially
send them in
fishing stuff.
Absolutely.
That is freaking awesome getting those. So keep it. If you guys want to get in touch with us, we'll have a full on conversation, whether it's social or email. It doesn't have to be email, but we highly enjoy that stuff and we eat it up. So more the better. We appreciate you guys doing it. I just want to say thank you to you guys that's been doing that. That's pretty cool. I think Corey Johnson's a good pick, especially for a sight fishing tournament.
Oh, 1,000%.
We'll get it. We'll probably get to another Johnson, I'm sure. in a few more buckets here. Looking at
So-
Deacon's face.
No, here we go.
So the role of all of my picks, I'm gonna like hot take it here. All of my picks are gonna be guys that can figure out how to catch them all three ways: pre-spawn, spawn, and post-spawn. And I think they're gonna be able to figure out how to catch them in each way. They can all be junk fishermen. So that is the style of my picking here, because you can't heavily rely on all the spawn, even though there's a full moon, because there's always going to be fish coming and going. So that's where I am at.
All right.
I like that strategy.
Yeah.
I went completely just like shadow, like completely tunnel visioned on sight fishing.
Yeah.
But that's probably it's probably a wise choice to do that.
I've been rocking like my picks all season long have been half. Last year I relied too much on numbers of like previous results. I think that can hurt you.
Mhm.
But it's been more of a feeling, just like fishing, right? Like a gut feeling, like, hey, I need to go check that bank. And so it's been more of a feeling on picks, guys. And then also like I'm still checking the stats a little bit, just 'cause that's just who I am.
Yeah. So real quick on that Ryan Crowley comment, who is the brainchild of that spelling bee, Bailey?
There is a genius at pure fishing that's behind it all. But it's freaking awesome.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Like I showed Amanda
Marketing
that and she
around
was laughing.
It's so good. It's not even.
Yeah. If you guys haven't yet, go to either Matt Robertson's Instagram or the Ugly Stick Instagram and just read the recent posts. There's 2 episodes out. There's 2 episodes out and there's 2 more coming. So be on the lookout for that. That's gonna be
One of my favorite paraphrase quotes from that, I hate to get off topic here, is like, you could be my best friend because I'm better looking than you.
Yeah.
Just like,
Who has better looking hair, me or your girlfriend? Please spell stick. STIK. Ugly stick.
She's the little girl too, and she was like, oh boy, I saw his sponsor jersey and I think he's gonna have some troubles with this one.
It was really good. They do a good job over there.
Impressive.
All right.
Oh,
All right.
man.
Back on track here. Group B. Deacon, lead us off. Well, actually, wait. I forgot to do Bartuzik.
Bart.
Yeah,
No
what's
more Bart.
Bartuzik is also choosing A, John Cox.
Wow. So it's really Andy versus all of us on Bucket A.
Andy
guess we'll
versus
say
the world.
Yeah, I was about to say Andy against the world. I like it.
Low key though, I don't think Corey's a bad pick at all. I think that's a great pick,
Yeah.
Andy.
I like that too. All right.
Thank
Deacon,
you.
lead us off for Group B.
All right. So Group B has got some hammers. I thought of it as it was a tougher choice, being that really you look at B, you've got Hackney in there, you've got a Drew Benton, great sight fisherman, Matt
Taku, who
Airy,
just catches them.
Taku, who just catches them everywhere. David Williams probably has some experience there. Patrick Walters, like, my gosh, at 30%. But I'm riding just a hammer. He's really good in those junk situations. And I feel that it's pretty hard to bet against a Brian New in this situation. So that is my pick. He also, by the way, the most recent Santee tournament that I could find was a Toyota Series in 2019. And there's a couple guys in this derby that fished that tournament. One of them was Brian New. He finished, I think he top 20 or something in that. So I think he spent a lot of time there from South Carolina, and just a good junk fisherman around big fish.
Yeah, I like that. And I like the fact that we do not have the same pick.
I'm going to bet me and Bailey have the
against you.
same pick.
You want to do it? Go first, Andy.
Oh,
I refuse to change my picks this week. Although I will say I changed my pick last week to Hank Cherry, and I was glad I did that.
That was great swap. But I'm going with the short shorts man himself, the hometown kid from Santee Cooper, Patrick Walters. He's the guy that's gonna know where they are at all phases. Like I said, I'm going with picks
He's a hammer, dude.
that can catch him anywhere. He took a top 10 there, if I remember correctly, in the fall, throwing a big swim bait on channel swings in the connecting of the lakes. And he was like, I'm way better here in the spring, basically on live multiple times. I think Walters quite possibly will blow this derby away because he just knows the lake so much better than everyone.
That's a hot take. I
Like,
disagree with it, but I think it's a hot take. It's possible.
He will be in the top 5. That is my hot take, and could
Wow.
possibly blow it away. Yeah.
What do the folks think? You guys think Walters is going to blow it away? I think Bartuszek thinks so because he also picked Walters for Group B.
A 30%er.
Yeah.
But I did not pick Walters for Group B.
Or new then, huh?
Or new.
Must be Hackney.
Nope.
Yeah.
Wow.
No?
Wow.
Who do you have?
I went with a great sight fisherman and one that's proven he can win on big fish fisheries, sight fishing.
Cobb.
I went with Brandon Cobb.
Interesting.
Another Carolina boy, and I think he might
He's
be
been
a
on that
little
lake.
pissed
I'm
off.
sure.
Huh.
He might be a little pissed after that Hartwell when everyone made a huge to-do about him supposed to win
I think
this
it's a
one.
good pick, Bailey. I like that.
I don't know. I got a feeling about him. I feel like it could be a tournament for him. So
He does know how to catch giants. So it's a great
He won
pick.
Fork.
It's a great pick. Yep.
Yeah.
So, it's gonna be really interesting to see how this thing shakes out because I'm more intrigued to see I'm more intrigued not as much the anglers that do well here because I think we could really group together who's gonna do good here, but it's more of what's gonna play. Like we keep seeing the past 3 years, year after year, that these fish are changing everywhere so much. And like you hear this, like the famous line recently in the past few years has been like, I've never seen fish do this before. So I'm really intrigued to see what the patterns are going to be for this one.
Absolutely.
I agree.
Yeah. I didn't see that John's comment until you put it up on the screen here. That's good. But guys, keep getting your bold picks, hot takes, all that jazz in. Maybe some questions you have to start some conversations because we still have a Queen Tackle gift card. We have Hobie Eyewear shades to give out and a Humminbird Minn Kota swag pack. So keep putting up the engagement, and we'll be picking some winners here. And let's get into Group C here. Deacon, lead us off.
Man, I think this is going to be a pretty common pick. I could be wrong. So bucket C for me, I mean, you have Jason Christie, who's coming off of the Classic. And then really you have G-Man, who is a great junk fisherman. Don't get me wrong. But I feel like there's a trend with northern anglers on vegetation fisheries that have big fish. Is that fair? Is that a fair statement? So to me, I'm going Chris Johnston here. That's my pick. I think he did decent the last time there at Santee. And I feel like in bucket C, another northern guy just seems to play well with those big fish when they're kind of close to spawning on a heavy vegetation place like Santee.
Mm-hmm. It's a great, and Chris is a great pick. You can never go wrong with picking the Johnston brothers because they're almost always in that day 3 cut. Almost always.
Deadly.
So we should figure out the stat of how many day 3 cuts both of them have missed since they've joined the Elite Series, and it's probably less than 7.
It's absurd, man.
That would be a very interesting statistic to look up. So I'm also going Chris Johnston.
There it is.
For this pick as well. So thank you, Deacon, for going first, so I don't have to have much of an explanation as to why.
Gosh.
But no, I mean, it really is the same deal as Corey. I mean, they both have a very similar skill set.
Mm-hmm.
It's very hard to kind of pick apart how they like to fish the same. They share the same, deal that's going on in each tournament. That's probably why they're both so dang good. So I'm going Chris Johnston as well. I think it's more of a safe pick out of this bucket than some others. It was very tempting to not, pick the Jason Christie riding hot off of it, but I just think it sets up better for the Johnston brothers. But I will say, my gut pick, I'm going to put this out early. My gut feeling pick, somebody that could come out of nowhere for this one is Joseph Webster.
Interesting.
He loves to sight fish.
Hey, I think I'm gonna. What's my giveaway? I thought mine was Omnia, but what's my giveaway?
Oh, sorry,
You're
my
good.
bad.
You're
Pick
good.
one of the three. Pick one of the three.
All right, we will do. We still have hummingbird hats.
We do.
All right, let's do the hummingbird hat. Ryan Crowley. I thought the same thing here as my hot take. Bailey, like your hot take. Mine in this bucket that I was struggling with was Lee Livesey. I think that he is on a big fish fishery. He's a great sight fisherman. He's had, I don't know, so many Bassmaster live footage of chasing those big fish. He's done well on Santee before. I like that pick. I struggled between him and Chris Johnston. I just felt like Chris was a safer pick. And in our golf scoring, I've got a lead. So I wanted to go with a little bit of a safer pick there. But I like
Yeah.
it.
I think after Hartwell, with him sitting in third going into day 3, he's really proven that he's becoming more versatile year after year after his top 10 at Champlain last year.
Hammer. And he works hard, man. Like he spent time up on Oahe right before the cutoff there. Like he goes and looks at these lakes he hasn't been to.
Plus the odds are in his favor with the kid on the way.
Get on the way.
It's just statistics.
Right.
It's just statistics. It's just analytics. Like
analytics.
You have a baby on the way, you're gonna make some dough.
That's right.
So I mean, if we go on that theory, BP is gonna win this tournament.
He's gonna win Pickwick. Oh, he's gonna win Pickwick because, like, I guess it is. If you guys have not started listening to Brandon Polonick's podcast that he started, highly recommend you guys do that. But Polonick said on the podcast that basically his wife Tiffany is due the weekend of Pickwick. So either Calvin Dever is going to have to finish the tournament for him and he'll lose, or he's going to win that tournament. I think it's just statistics. Yeah. It's right there. It's in the fine print. Yeah.
Oof. That is a tough hill to sled right there.
Yeah. So to wrap it up, because Andy, you went, right?
No.
Did you go yet? Oh, you didn't.
No.
All right.
So remember how I said I'm going to keep repeating this, but I'm going on people that can junk fish their way to good finishes. My pick's G-Man. Yeah, he in 2006, hold on, I still have it up here. In 2006, I believe he was top 30. He finished 28th with 63.3. It's not a winning pick, but he's somebody that could surprise you and catch a big one doing something different. Like on a popper, he might find a shad spawn deal starting to fire off somewhere, and you'll pick up a couple big ones on like a popper or a DT8 or a DT10, and you'll have that pre-spawn, post-spawn bite going because he's not going to chase spawners. So he's not going to win because those guys that are going to win are going to have a couple big key fish on beds every day. But he's going to be able to pick 18 to 22 pounds a day, I would think, to get in that top 40 cut.
There's too many big fish in Santee, man.
Yeah. So, and he's going to stumble on a couple of them a day, but it's one of those picks. I'm like, I have an idea where people are going to go, and I just wanted to be a little bit different. And he did well at Harris. He's been fishing really well for about the last year and a half. So I think Swindle is a good pick to ride the steady train. When Swindle is steady, he's dangerous for cash and checks, and it's a safe, good fantasy pick.
I like it.
Yeah.
I like it too.
Bartuzik went completely different than the rest of us.
Hey, that's good.
And he went with Caleb Summerall.
Ooh.
Hey, that was another dark horse in this bucket, I felt like. Low percentage. And hey, look.
No cypress trees. Louisiana.
Bart's in a position, and by the way,
he's got to swing a little.
Exactly, a lower percentage guy swinging, and I think, man, he has really, really turned it on the last year and into this year as far as becoming a really good all around angler. Jim
wants to know who's Bart.
I don't know. Never heard of him.
Yeah, he's been absent the last two live fantasy shows.
I know. Make sure you guys let him know that. Shoot him a message on social media. Make him feel bad.
5 Bites Fishing here with some good stats from the last event.
Oh,
Santee Cooper, yeah.
Yep. Hudnall was a good pick. I thought that was a good one.
All cypress tree fishermen. They know cypress and
vegetation, man.
And vegetation. So those are
Tyler
good.
Rivette, dude. Tyler Rivette's getting more comfortable. He's getting better. It definitely helps that he's riding with Hank Cherry and Brock Mosley. But talking to him a little bit about that, like he basically just said, like he's learning a lot from them. and he was learning a lot from the start when he was riding with him. But the problem was he would try to do what they were doing, but now he's taking what he's learning from them, using it to his own style and his own confidence, and now he's kind of fallen into his own stride, which is pretty cool.
Man,
Awesome.
dude, he's a good natural angler. I watched him on a very famous creek on in a college derby on Rayburn on 5 fingers. We had like 15 or 16 pounds, and he stayed on the same stretch fishing this hydrilla offshore with a trap or something, and I watched him absolutely maul them by himself. It was a team college tournament, and he had like 23 or something. And after the tournament, I was like, wow, you're at a different level. Anyways, all right.
I hope to be there someday.
It was incredible, but super nice guy.
It's like, yeah, high five, man. You kicked all of us. Good job. Like,
all right. All right, moving on to Group D. Kick us off, Deacon.
Man, Group D was my toughest group. Mm-hmm. I felt like there wasn't anyone that was really sticking out to me. Going along, really, for me, I thought, okay, who's someone who's underrated in this Group D? I think the underrated guys, you've got a Hank Cherry in here. You have a Iconelli in here. You have Menendez, who always seems to do well around cypress trees. I don't think he's a bad pick at all. I decided to go with a steady Eddie. I think in Group D, Group E, you're looking for a guy who's going to get a consistent top 30. He's riding off of a good classic. Junk fisherman, shallow guy. I'm going Luke Palmer in Group D.
Yeah, that is a very good pick. And I was like very, very, very torn. I wanted to pick him very bad. I will say Bartuszek. Bartuszek also picked Luke Palmer.
Okay.
But I went a little bit crazy in this group because,
let's hear it.
And he's burned me once already. But I have faith in the guy.
You got to make up points, Bailey.
I want to have faith in the guy, and he's a very good sight fisherman. But for some reason, couldn't pull it off at Harris. I'm going with Justin Atkins.
Oh wow, that is a, in my opinion, a hill or a valley.
I know exactly.
Oh,
that's what it was at the Harris.
Yeah. Ooh, that's
a
I love the guy,
pick, but it could pay off, man. Like he could easily top 10.
I love the guy. Like Atkins, if you're listening, I have 100% confidence in you, buddy. Lead me to the promised land.
Talk about like a tough start to an Elite Series career, right? Last year struggled, and then at the end, we're like, okay, we finally saw Justin Atkins and who Justin Atkins is. And then
look at him in his FLW tour days.
Yeah. Now back to the start of 2022. Right down back to the way 2021 started for him. So I hope for Justin Atkins' sake, he starts rolling the right way.
Here's my theory. Okay. He was too invested in deer hunting, but he told me he finally killed the big buck he's been chasing for 3 years. And we're going to blame it on Florida, and we're out of Florida. So he's back on his roll.
Yeah. All right.
We're good.
All right.
That's all I got for my theory. We're good.
Fair enough. So I am staying on my junk fishing ways, guys that can catch them, coming, going, spawning. And he struggled in Florida. I'm going with Mike Iconelli. He had a top 20 here in 2006. Electronics are way better now. He can catch them however he needs to catch them. We've seen him at Gunnersville when it's a spawning derby, catching them pre-spawn and catching big ones in day 1 and 2. I think he's a for sure day 3 cut. Don't know if he'll make the top 10, but all he needs is a couple big bites and he'll be right there. So
I like that Ike pick.
I like that. That was my pick before Palmer. That was I think that's a solid deal. Yeah. I'm surprised none of us here, and I'm kind of just seeing this now. Brock Mosley, man, is at a 14.1%. I could see him playing really well here.
He's been on fire for like the
amount of second place derbies he has is painful. And the amount of that pre-spawn big fish fishery, man, I could see him doing very well.
He set the tempo at the Classic with 18 pounds. And I thought he was like going to be on a roll for the Classic and be a contender, which he had a tough day too, but I could see him doing well. I could really see him doing well in this event. I mean, that talk about a guy that's due for a win, with how many, like you just mentioned,
100%.
how many second place finishes he's had. But I could also see, talking about local guys that might know what's going down. You got Shane LaHue and Hank Cherry in this bucket too. Now, I don't think Shane's as much of a sight fisherman. I think he's more of a spotted bass kind of guy. But Hank Cherry could do well too. I mean, he's showed he could sight fish in the St. Johns River 2 years ago. I don't know. It's gonna be an interesting bucket, but I think I'm still waiting for the tournament. I mean, Jay Shakur, it's been doing really well. I'm still waiting for that rookie to come out and have like a big bold performance.
Dude, of any rookies, as far as a safe pick goes, he's the safest rookie pick, man. Mm-hmm. He seems to just get a limit. He seems to, and not just get a limit, he seems to make day 3 cuts. So I think he's here to stay.
I'm waiting for Cody Huff's big hello because he's a damn good angler.
He struggled, dude, at Lake of the Ozarks tournament 2 weeks ago. I think he blanked day 1 or maybe had 1 2-pounder, and then the second day he caught him okay. But I was like, man. And they don't set up at Lake of the Ozarks like they do at Table Rock and the places where he really, really scopes them. But I figured he would have at least a decent derby there.
Yeah. All right. Moving on to Bucket E. Very interesting one to go with. And I think there's a chance we might. Well, I take that back because Bart doesn't have this. But yeah, there's a good chance the 3 of us might all have the same pick here. Lead us off, Deacon.
Oh, man. Look at Rich. We've got Dick Duckett's pick here. Or not saying, did I hang out with Randy? I did not hang out with Randy. I spent the entire time staring at live scope, and it probably hurt me, which maybe if I would have been a more natural fisherman, it would have been different. But anyways, as far as bucket E,
so what you're saying is you should have went to Randy's house.
Maybe, man. I started day 2 catching him on a jerkbait because I was sick of watching him follow an A-rig. But anyways, I decided to go. I think there's a couple of decent picks here. I think it was really hard to choose against Welcher, and that was my bucket E pick. Coming off the Classic he is just so chill in his. It was incredible to me to lose the Classic. I thought he handled it great as far as hearing his interview on BTL and just the way he ended that deal. It's just an odds thing for him. I think he's so cool under pressure with his poker background. And April 25th Toyota Series, I think it was the Costas then, 2019, he finished 5th here. So a little bit later, kind of more of a post-spawn, a little bit of sight fishing going on from what I read in that tournament. He's good around heavy vegetation. And I think that Welcher is a standout in bucket E for me.
I mean, he did good at St. Johns River punching his first ever Elite Series tournament. I could see that too. And that is why I also went with Kyle Welcher for this bucket as well.
3 picks again, Bailey. You and I.
I know. One of these ones we're both gonna tank. It's gonna kill us.
It's gonna be this one, and I can't wait. No, I'm just kidding. It's probably not gonna be. But I did not take Kyle Welcher. Just because he's coming off a big disappointment. I mean, it's great that he finished 2nd, but he's got to be so disappointed in that some people I feel like would hold on to that for a little bit, even though he's stone-faced. You can't tell the true emotion going on. I'm going with somebody who knows cypress trees and knows how to catch really big fish. I'm going with Derek Hudnall.
Oh, no, that's a good pick too.
Yeah, for Group E.
He's only 2%.
He finished 8th last time. Yep.
I was really thinking you were going Steve Kennedy.
Oh, I wanted to go Steve Kennedy so bad because he always catches them doing something different than everybody else, and he knows how to catch giant fish. But every time I pick Steve Kennedy, he burns me. So I try to stay away from that pick as much as possible.
He's a good Classic pick. I think
he is.
He seems to always be somewhere near.
Well, leading up to the class, he's like, yeah, they would chase the swim bait and they wouldn't eat it. And then on day 1, I guess he caught them all on a glide bait or something ridiculous. So it's just like he always finds a bite that nobody else finds for whatever reason.
He was telling me on Sunday, he was catching spotted bass in like 64 foot of water on Hartwell. He's like, yeah, I saw 2 of them. I caught the 2 and I was trying to run around and find more like it, but there were some big ones. Couldn't get them to eat. And I just got distracted looking for those big ones out deep. I could listen and sit to, gosh, I can't even speak. I could sit and listen to Steve Kennedy for hours and not say a word because he could definitely talk for that whole time. And you could just hear story after story after story.
We should get Steve on here if you would ever do it, because I feel like that would be a fun one.
It'd be a lot of fun. We should definitely try to swing that.
Alabama Twitch in a white swim jig all day long with his 1999 Corrado E's and Kisslers, first generation Kisslers. Like, it's wild.
The amount of respect I have for that dude is beyond measure, man. It's so cool watching fish.
Yeah,
he runs his own path. Love it.
It'd be super cool to watch him win again. It really would. And for Bucket E for Bart, he went with an interesting pick, and I can definitely see it aligning.
Okay.
He went with Hunter Shryock.
Good safe bet. He did really well on Winyah Bay, fishing completely different from everybody else. He was flipping cypress trees and like that middle. I can't remember the name of the river, but the middle river, everybody would run to the Cooper. And there was another river in between. I can't remember what it was called, but he'd be the only one in there catching them on cypress trees. That's a good pick.
Yeah.
He's a good, safe top 40,
Junk
more
fisherman.
than likely junk fisherman. Yep.
Sight fisherman. Really good.
Shallow fisherman.
Yeah. Really good with grass.
Yep.
Hey, I like this. I like this take from KMG Outdoors, and I'm curious your guys' thoughts. What is Big Bass going to be this week?
Big.
That is a very, very loaded question.
It's going to be big. I'm going to see if I can find what the Big Bass was from Santee Cooper in 2006.
I'll kick us off.
6.
Kick us off with I'll start the big fish vibes here, and I'm going to say a 12-3.
Oh my!
I love it.
Wow.
We already seen an 11 this year. We might as well keep going up, boys.
Yeah, I mean, this is definitely
That'd be
a
like
place.
a top 5, like in Bassmaster history.
Yeah, I think it would be. Well,
top 10, definitely.
Trying to remember what they said something on live with Kayaks catching his 11-pounder, what that ranked.
Okay. From whoever had that comment in the beginning talking about how Santee's a different place, I think that needs to be taken into account here before with our weight predictions and everything, because it is not a 2006.
Well, I heard it's better. Like everything I've read is that might be better than it used to be.
Okay. Well, if I'm looking at, and this is different because it's only a 2-day derby, but they must have had a cancellation in this Toyota Series, April 25th to 27th. Big Bass, by the way, was only a 9-pounder at the end of April. So different times. So that's yeah, but they were catching some on beds. They did talk about that in this article, but the majority of them were post-spawn. I agree. So I think that leaves it to like a 10, 11 range in Big Bass, also over 4 days versus just 2. You got more odds, but less anglers. But I'm gonna say 10-6 as a Big Bass. I'm not gonna go super crazy, but I think we'll get a double-digit fish or 2 in there.
What was the big fish last year in the fall? It was close to 11, wasn't it?
No, was it?
Yeah, there's a couple like megas.
Wasn't it Carl?
Bassmaster Fantasy.
I don't remember who it was, but I don't think it was Carl. I know Gussie had one that was almost 10 on day 1.
I'll tell you right now. Hold up.
Let's look it up.
But I got the big fish from 2006. It was 11. Hold on. I just lost it.
I think there's just a lot of solid like 8 pluses in there.
The big fish from 2006 was 11-10, which was caught by Preston Clark, who won.
Are we thinking a Hobie eyewear shades for Justin here?
Yeah.
For this hot take about Santee changing since 06?
Yeah. I thought that was a good call, man. Yeah, that was like one of mine I was considering at the beginning. I just thought it was early, but I like it a lot.
All right. Well, Justin, get in touch with us, and we'll get you some Hobie eyewear shades sent your way. But boys, I'm thinking with this big bass conversation, that's really going to kind of be the hype going into this tournament when everyone saw this on the schedule for the time being, for what's about to happen. I think the talk has been big fish. And just I think starting this conversation, I'm thinking KMG Outdoors should deserve himself a Queen Tackle gift card.
Get some switchblades.
I like
catching big fish.
KMG, get in touch with us, man. Well, you won yourself a $25 Queen Tackle gift card. Shoot us an email or get with us on social. We'll send you that discount code.
So Justin followed up there and said, on the upswing, finally, big fish.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right, we got an 11-1 from Mr. Dick Duckett. We have a 13.
Ooh, give me that 13. I want to see some records broken. Like
KMG said a 10.5.
Okay. All right, let's switch it up.
Another 12.5.
I'm gonna go 11.6. But what will be the biggest 5 fish weighed in on a single day?
Over 30.
I think I'm gonna go 35.8.
Holy
damn!
shit.
Yeah, somebody's gonna catch a mega bag on beds because of the full moon.
33.4.
And it's gonna be Saturday or Sunday when that mega bag is caught. Sean says 33.7, but his big fish of the tournament's 8.4.
Hey, Jim Johnson at the same as mine, 33.4.
Yeah.
I'll play devil's advocate. I will say that they'll have the biggest bass of the tournament, but they only get 28.5.
So you think that's the biggest bag or biggest bass?
They'll have the biggest bag, but they'll also have the biggest bass. It'll be 28 pounds.
The
Didn't Carl have like
19 post spawn? There was a 31.2 bag weight. There's a 27.15.
Oh, I think there's going to be a bag over 30. I'm just going to play devil's advocate and go under.
Okay.
Well, didn't
Somebody's
Carl
got to.
in the fall have a bag that was like 23 or 26 pounds in the fall on day one?
Dude, I don't know how on Bassmaster's website to check daily. Like all you can look
there's
at.
There's no way to go back. It's just final results.
Yeah. And there's big bass on there.
So in the fall, Carl had 25 pounds on day one. Like in the fall, those are skinny fish. Like, especially at the time they were there. And they said it too, like they were there like a month early for that lake to go off.
Yeah. Let's should we talk about how many century belts are going to be here?
I'm going to say over 4.
4?
I'm going over 4.
Devil's advocate, but go ahead first, Bailey. And do we have Bart's final weight, top weight?
Oh, yeah, we'll do final weights here in a second.
Okay,
yes,
so we're talking how many centuries. Okay.
I'm going to go 2.
I could be wrong here.
I hope we're all wrong. I hope it's more than that.
I hope it's a ton. I'm going to say 0. I'm going to say it's going to be right there. We're going to have it at like 99, 98, something like way up there, but not going to be quite there.
Like your typical St. Lawrence tournament that always blows 20 miles an hour on the last day.
But that's smallmouth, man.
Exactly. I mean,
I know. I'm just like
4 days is just tough, but man, there's a lot of big fish in that lake. Santee.
If we don't get wind, well, I don't even know if wind will be that much of a factor there. It might make the lake rough, but where they're going to be catching most of these fish are going to be backwater sloughs protected by cypress trees. Because it blew a couple of the days last year, and it looked like glass in a lot of the areas the pros were fishing.
Hey, do we have any more prizes left?
We don't, but we can put together a little Serious Angler swag pack.
This Justin comment over under how many lower units busted. That is phenomenal. That is we should have a line for that because that place, from what I understand, is just ridiculous to run on. And listening to how Carl won last year, I mean, he just let it go. He was like, "Yeah, no, man, I was trim and prey, like coming back, like I was going. Like there was no concern on if there was if there was stumps under me. I was going."
Andy and I were talking to Carl about that exact same conversation.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, it's pretty scary to run. Like, you just kind of, he was like, he literally said that verbatim. Like, the first time he was there, he's like, yeah, I kind of just trimmed up and hope for the best. But he's like, this time around, I'm actually going to take my time to like get around to different places.
Well, I remember watching, like, I think it was day 3 when he came screaming out of that backwater creek that like everybody was in, and he got stuck on a log. Brandon Polinick was fishing like right next to him when he hit the tree.
Oh, jeez. Wait, was it Santee Cooper that they were watching? Oh shoot, they were watching somebody, and in the background you see John Cruz just completely roll over a stump. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, yeah.
It's like famous footage. Like you just see some guy in the background go doosh, doosh, like.
That's just typical, man. Bumping stumps, but at least he was idling.
All right, how many lower units? What are we going? How many anglers are to come back and be like, well, busted up a lower unit? Like how many?
Does it count practice days? Because I'm gonna say over 20.
Oh
because,
wow!
Because hear me out. Like
R.I.P.
all it takes is them to bump it just right while they're idling with that prop, and they have a bent prop shaft and the lower unit screwed.
How many? Okay, you're from the north. How many stumps have you hit?
Me? 0, because we don't have stumps.
Okay, so that's what I'm saying, dude. The amount of stumps that I have run over in the Legend would blow your mind. I don't have a bent prop shaft. I'm saying just idling. It doesn't hurt anything. I'm not going to say it doesn't hurt anything. I shouldn't say that. Dude, it does hurt the fiberglass on your boat, and it does shake your lower unit. But like the amount of like that's just like bass fishing in the South. Man.
Wait, can you do that sound effect one more time, please?
No, I'm not gonna do it.
Yeah, but that's the
you got me. The margarita's empty, so you got me.
I remember talking. I think I was talking to Destin about it the last time they were there. Like everybody had their lower unit replaced before practice was done because they were just tearing them up. Yeah, because the water was really low too when they were there. It was like almost unsafe.
Two things from Jim Johnson here. The lake is lower than it was last fall. That can sometimes help. Like look at Fork.
Yeah, because you can see everything.
You can see everything. You can see where a channel is or not versus stuff being under. And then the other thing is the supply shortage. I do think guys are being more careful because it is not easy to get a lower unit right now. Yamaha,
that is fair.
Like good luck. You should have already bought one because it's hard to get one of those things right now.
Right now, it's taking 14 to 16 months just to get a show if you don't buy a Skeeter.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Here's a very good point here. Do we know if Cox is fishing Harris chain?
Yes.
When does that start?
That's
tomorrow, I think.
Oh, gosh.
No, or Saturday. I think it starts Saturday.
Yes.
Yeah.
So will he have practice for Santee Cooper?
It depends because it's what a tackle warehouse pro circuit, right? It's not BPT.
I'm gonna log in and look at this real quick.
He's not doing BPT this year.
Yeah, I think it starts tomorrow actually.
March 13th, Sunday. 13th through the 16th. So no, it doesn't start. It's a Monday derby. Actually, I was talking to Loberg about this.
God. Yeah, he's not gonna be able to practice. He's not going to have time to practice.
Oh,
no! You can change them now, boys.
I don't know.
Locked in.
We're still locked in. I'm going
still alive. There's still the red button.
Oh, gosh. Hey, for anyone who's tuned in this long, or if you're listening on iTunes, that is an important factor because we saw last year with how many derbies he fished. There were some with no practice he did very well and some that he bombed. But I do think he spent a decent amount of time at this place. And of all people, when fish are moving to beds, he seems to find them during the derby.
Corey Johnston, how you doing?
You already locked it in, boys. No,
it ain't locked in.
Okay, you can change it. I don't care.
No, I'm gonna ride it out. I got faith in John Cox. He barely practiced for Sam Rayburn, and he won the damn thing on a crankbait that he never threw in his life.
He's too good.
All right.
Bailey, one thing. Jim was wondering earlier? Jim Wood is asking, what was Bart's pick in bucket D?
D was. Let me pull it up here.
Was it a Shyok?
Luke Palmer.
Luke Palmer. Yeah.
Okay.
He went the same with Bart. Yeah, 5 bites here. If there's anyone that'll win without practice, it's John Cox. That is exactly correct.
Yeah, because
I will throw it out there. Bartuzik, his weight to win this event was 104 pounds, 7 ounces.
I think that's
Me
reasonable.
and Bart are always like right on the tee with weight. I'll throw mine out there. I'm 105.7.
What is it with us in the sevens? I went 102.7.
I love it.
I'm at 99.3. But I think
What a
those are
Debbie
we're
Downer.
always okay. Hold on. Everyone just wants the century belt. It's just the same thing with like double digits, right? It's like everyone's like, well, it's a 10-pounder. Well, it's like a 9.9's pretty freaking solid too.
No,
But
But
like
it's not a 10-pounder.
Nobody cares, bro.
it's a century belt. So
It could be 9.15. It is a 9-pounder.
that's hilarious.
Nobody cares, bro.
Nobody cares. Next.
9.15, 10-pounder. All right.
I will say on OHIV, a 9-pounder means absolutely squat right now.
Yes. Well, I feel like just about any
Limit
Texas
filler.
lake, it's just like,
A
oh,
limit.
you caught a 9 today? Nice, bro. I got a 13.
Yeah, you catch a 9 on OHIV right now, and you're like, man, I really hope that's not in my live ball today. But you're like, hey, boys, keep an eye on that thing. Make sure it doesn't die.
Yeah, you gotta get rid of him if he's looking bad.
Gotta get rid of this rat.
Yeah.
Rat.
Yeah, it's like you set the hook into it, and he's like, big one, nah, nothing. You're just skiing it back in.
Freaking 8-pounder flashing. Oh
Yeah.
my gosh.
All right. David Zhang's. Oh, Dave, what's going on, dude? David is actually from the Anglers channel.
Oh, nice.
Very cool platform for guys that are avid with bass fishing to keep up on news and such. And they also have a pretty good
No doubt.
podcast.
Heck yeah.
What's it going to take to make day 4 cut?
Ooh.
Interesting. I'm gonna get my calculator out. See what we can do.
I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go.
So quick history here before you spout it out, Bailey. In 2006, to make the top 12 cut, it was just over 71, almost 72 pounds to make the day 4 cut.
Shoo. I'm gonna
And
go.
that was top 12 at the time.
Yeah, it used to be top 12.
I'm gonna go.
So that was what divided by 3, 24 a day.
I'm gonna go 67. Because that would be in like if you got 20 pounds, you'd have high 80s.
I'm right there too. I think I got it down at like 21 and a half a day. So what's that times 3? 64 and a half pounds.
God damn, we have some big freaking weights coming in to make day 4.
80, 90?
90 would be insane.
Yeah.
I hope it's 90. I love
hope
that
too.
enthusiasm.
Dude, we're going for like record breaking if we're hitting
Change,
90, like
85-ish. Okay.
ish.
They did
Like-
say if there was a tournament to ever break the
The
record.
century belt. Well, yeah,
No,
the
not
record.
the record.
Yeah.
That this would be the tournament.
What is it? Like 122, I think.
I don't know what the specific. I honestly don't know.
Maybe I'm underdoing stuff. Maybe it's just from like Bart being always so high on weights and then just being crushed. I was wrong on the
Naturally.
classic. I was under on the classic. So
Yeah.
maybe I'm going a little low, but
I was going to say 70-ish. We got another 90 from Mark. Man, I'd hope it's 90.
I think I'm gonna go 71.5
Okay.
I think that's reasonable.
because
I think high
because
low 70s.
I think these guys are going to literally. So that's what almost 24 a day. These guys are going to wreck them because if they're pre-spawn with that cold weather leading up to a full moon, they're going to be moving. If there's any pre-spawn fish in that lake, usually what I find is the first wave is males. So this will possibly be the second wave. This is when the big females should be coming.
But there is the theory, though, that the biggest females are always first.
Yeah.
Early.
Unless there's a ton of big
Here's the thing, though.
females.
That's exactly what I was just going to say.
Unless there's a ton.
There's a difference between like, okay, the true giants, like the 11 to 14 pounders that maybe live on this place. There's not nearly as many as there are like 8 to 9.
I know. I was going to follow up in the fact that, well, there's just a lot of theories here.
Yeah, like it very well, like you could see the winner being like 80 to 85 pounds going into the last day.
I could definitely see that. I mean, I mean, when you think from a biological standpoint, they say that the bigger the fish, the earlier they spawn in the year because they don't need as warm of temperatures. So
correct.
It could be interesting, especially with the cold front. Maybe it'll delay a couple.
Yeah.
And
that,
what with that moon phase, dude? I mean,
they're just
I think
it's going to be bonkers. At least it should be.
I think honestly, with the temperatures, the time of year, and with that moon phase, I think Bassmaster Live should just have like explicit written on the live stream just for what's about the people are going to see these fish do.
Parental advisory.
Yeah,
boat flipping tens.
Yeah, it's gonna be they're doing the dirties like on live.
Dude, but if there are pre-spawn fish staged, you could see a couple giants get caught on a swim bait. Like it's setting up for a big fish to be caught on a swim bait somewhere.
I still think with exactly what Chris is saying here, it's gonna be a general or a Senko. That's what the biggest fish is gonna be caught on.
Usually,
most likely that or a drop shot, whatever, a craw, something,
or like a white zoom speed craw or something,
like something boring.
Yeah,
always
something that's gonna be sitting in a bed. That's what's gonna be one on.
Oh, I just can't wait for. Oh man,
I hope it's like a devil's horse that they just randomly get a freak giant on, and it's just like hysterics trying to get it into the boat just for TV drama.
Tiny hooks on that devil's horse. Oh god,
wrapping them around trees, snakes falling in the boat, gators attacking them. It'd be great.
This
is like gator prime time, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know what's really interesting is the week after this, there's a kayak tournament down there.
Well, I can guarantee you all the kayak guys will be watching live.
I have a feeling Justin lives somewhat close to Santee Cooper because he's throwing another hot take out there in June bug.
Anything June bug, eh? I think that's what they say for the South is just anything June bug.
Yeah. Like
Palmer will win on a banjo minnow. That's fantastic.
Banjo minnow.
Yes, the banjo minnow.
He just learned how to use a spinning rod, so he might win. Now that he's got a wacky ring in his hands, it's scary.
Dude,
except for when he tries to skip docks, it's either going to hit every pontoon, land on top, or the one random pole.
Hey, I like that comment from David.
Yeah.
And I think it will.
Sure.
I think the first and that's just how it is, right? Like look at forward facing sonar, and it's like the early pre-spawn derbies are big factor, and then we kind of get to this time frame where your natural fishermen, your shallow guys are going to do it, and you might still have some guys catching them on standing timber or something with it, but I think it will take a back seat in this derby in the next couple, and then it kind of kicks up again in that post-spawn phase.
Yeah, I mean, and that's where if you have guys that know how to catch them in all three phases, like hypothetically, I don't really know much about Santee Cooper, right? But if there's a shad spawn deal going on, like I feel like this is about that time of year where it does start to pop up a little bit in some places. A guy that can utilize that forward-facing sonar to find where the shad are could really play big first thing in the morning.
I mean, this time of year with a shad spawn, you don't need forward facing to see that shad. They'll make themselves known.
Yeah, but like that glimpse right after the morning where those shads start to pull back out, that's when it would play. Like I think forward facing sonar is going to change the shad spawn deal and allow anglers to take advantage of it longer.
I will say, to add on to that, well, one, Andy, I've experienced my first ever true shad spawn in Texas last year.
Yeah.
You would love yourself a true shad spawn. It is a lot of fun.
Oh, dude, it's a different game.
Sign me up.
You just like, it's peaceful and quiet, and all you hear is yeah, it's just nuts.
Oh my gosh.
I will.
My ADHD would be like, where are they?
I've had scope on my boat for the last 2.5 years, man. I'm obsessed with it. It's a
Deacon and I argue all the time about forward facing.
Yeah.
It's like me and Bailey with chatterbait rods.
Yeah. But we both love it, but it's not that kind of argument. I'm not against it. I freaking love the damn thing. But I will say, to add on to that point, if anyone watched the Lake Fork BPT event, and also what some of the guys have been doing on YouTube that are in Texas, they are scoping those things in 3 foot of water.
Oh, dude.
Yeah.
Huge. I mean,
Scott Martin did it at Harris Chain, actually. He was in shallow water, and he's watching them on beds.
in
beds.
perspective
That's
mode.
I was just gonna say, and not even necessarily in perspective mode. So Toyota Series just happened on Havasu. I had a buddy that top 10 there, and he's an incredible bed fisherman, as good as it gets. When you're around smallmouth, clear water, like right. Well, he's had these fish marked on beds. Wind had blown in, can't see anything. Well, why don't I just look on my forward facing sonar? And he's like, oh, there he is swimming around right there on the bed. Like, wham, there he is. I couldn't find him, but I didn't need to because I had forward facing sonar. So I think there's applications there, but you know, I mean, if the conditions are right, everyone I think would rather be looking at them with their own eyes.
Quick shout out to my buddy Jackson Sullivan, who's in the chat tonight.
Alabama ham.
He's Tennessee ham.
Tennessee, same thing. It's all the same.
Nah, he's good in Alabama as well.
Yeah,
but I will say, because he had an interesting point here, I will think it actually does hold up for the 4 days. I think it's too early in the spawn. Not early, I should say. I think it's prime time.
Yeah.
But it would be. It's a good point to bring up. Is like, will certain areas hold up? I think with this moon though, there's going to be so many ways to fish.
Yeah,
I just hope there'll be new fish.
I just hope the 90-degree weather we had for like 5 days in a row while we were in South Carolina, what felt like 90 degrees. I hope that didn't mess it up too much. I think the one day got to like 86.
Yeah,
while we were there. Yeah. It's like,
whew. I love this comment. Taku Ito, not gonna have fun with big fish.
You know, he says it himself. He can't catch big fish.
Well, he's like, I am no big muscle. I love
every day.
He goes, I don't like 5-6 pounder. I like 2-3 pounder.
Dude, yeah, he literally has gone on to say, I would much rather deal with like little fish than big fish.
Yeah,
that's just oh man, it cracks me up. And what didn't they weigh the trophy? And it was like 33 pounds or something. Like,
yeah, they were teasing him, like saying if he's been working out, like so that he could lift the trophy. He's stolen the hearts of every bass angler.
It's a largemouth Disneyland this weekend.
Yeah. Hopefully he has the strength to reel one in.
Yeah, could you imagine walking up to stage with a 40-pound bag? He might need some help.
Chris, I disagree with this comment because when you're looking at forward-facing sonar, you see everything in front of you. And so you're like, hey, there's a stump. I don't have to run into that. You can swing around it.
Would you looky there?
I found a stump.
Unless you're in a kayak like me and almost fall over when you hit stumps. If anyone's not seen that video I posted on social, it's hilarious. Like,
look cold too.
Yeah, the water temp was 53. I highly encourage you watch that, and then you have blackmail to make fun of me for, because it's actually really funny, and I almost like shit myself. Whatever.
I think we were on like the phone, or you called me like right afterwards. You're like, oh my god.
I literally called because I didn't want to like move at all. I was like catching my breath because I was like, my heart rate was like 180. So I just called you. I'm like, yeah, I almost took a spill. I'm just gonna chat for 2 minutes, let myself calm down.
So,
but do we have anything left that we want to unlay for the folks here? You guys have any gut picks? Like I said, Joseph Webster. I think Andy, you put one out there.
I had one.
Well,
Andy.
My gut pick, I didn't really throw it out there. I think will win will be Patrick Walters because he can catch him however he wants. But my gut pick wants to pick Steve Kennedy because
I like that.
It seems like a Steve Kennedy return to the Blue Trophy. Like every couple of years, he seems to catch one, and it's doing something completely different. He should have won the Classic at Conroe doing something completely different. This is a type of fishery that sets up for him to catch them differently than everybody else, and he will catch a couple giants. There's my hot take. Steve Kennedy will have big bass of the event.
Oh,
yes.
Okay. I think verbatim what you said was Patrick Walters is going to blow this event away.
Yes. Okay. But Steve Kennedy will have big bass. You are correct.
All right.
Mine was Lee Livesey, man, around big fish. I think he does well. And then Dick Duckett's comment on Taku's setup. I did see that, man, at Sonar Pros doing his stuff. He's running 3 graphs, I think an additional 12-inch just scope. I actually messaged him and was like, hey, how are you running that scope? And he's running it off the side of the plate. So it's to give you a better shot. Like after, if you were to look at stuff on side scan and swing back or look at it at the same time. I mean, or if you're going down docks or whatever, you're just scoping out to the side. It's pretty wild.
Super. You're gonna see some guys doing some crazy stuff with that. I mean, there's stuff like when you're around those guys that you're seeing just a chatter and that they're not telling you, that you probably won't find out until 3 years from now.
Yep.
It's some pretty crazy stuff they're doing with that tech. It really is.
Just look at some of, I mean, like, and then like a Spencer Sheffield with how he mounts his live scope different than everybody else. Like there's all kinds of crazy things that aren't talked about. And I love trying to like dig into those details and figure those things out. It's cool.
It's what we're here for. To unleak the juice.
Bring it to the public.
Well, boys, I think that's about do it for tonight, eh?
Yeah, thank you to everyone who tuned in with all the comments. We truly appreciate it every time we're live. So thank you.
Yeah. And to the winners, if you guys have not already, get in touch with us. We'll get you your gift cards and such sent out to you. And folks, next week on Tuesday Night Live, we have Gary Klein coming on the show. And then for Friday's episode, we have John Sokup coming back on the show. Deacon, do you have a show coming up for Monday?
I do. And I've got a guy that's kind of been going back and forth here. So we may have an audible tomorrow about midday, but we will.
Stay tuned, folks. But yeah, we're going to be getting back. Obviously, there was the week of the Classic. We took off Monday and Friday. So we're getting back to the regular scheduled program here. And I will be going down for Red Crest, but we're still going to make sure we get that show done. So we'll see you guys then. And hopefully this event, it's interesting to do this a week out from day one, because especially with us saying that, we're more doing it for you guys to stay consistent with our picks and not go back on it. But it truly is like last week at Hartwell, we made our picks a week before. The highs looked like 65, right, for that tournament. Yeah. And then we show up and like Monday or Tuesday, it's like 86 and sunny, 75 and sunny. We're like, crap. We really wish we could change our picks right now.
Oh, dude, it's funny. Like flying to Hartwell, I was like, it's gonna be 80 degrees. Man, my fantasy team is screwed. I was like, oh man.
Yeah, they did pretty good though.
Yeah, just a couple blunders, but I mean, it could have been. Yeah. It is what it is. That's fantasy fishing, and that's what happens when we pick it out a week in advance. But sometimes I feel like every time,
sometimes important.
Mm-hmm. Thanks, Chris. But I'm going to say, I feel like one of us has been very close to picking the winner every tournament, or pick somebody who was leading the event at some point.
I'm surprised none of us had Jason Christie.
I said the same thing. I think I said that in the group chat, like after day 2 of the Classic. I was like, does none of us have him?
Because we deserve to just cancel the show because we didn't have Jason Christie.
I think we all said too, like, Jason Christie will probably win this event, but if it aligns to what he wants to do, and then he goes and catches them on forward-facing sonar, which nobody thought he was going to do. Mm-hmm. So
he still caught him on the jig and docks.
Yeah,
he said it himself on stage. He's the most stubborn individual on the planet, and he's going to do what he wants to do, or he's not going to do it. So it's kind of one of those things. But folks, we are going to tune out here. We appreciate you guys, and we will see you for business from the Bass Boat on Monday.
That's right.